Do giant primates larger than gorillas, taller than Sasquatch or Yeti still exist in the remotest corners of the globe? Released in 2010 by Novelist Books, True Giants, Gigantopithecus Still Alive compiles witness testimonies, historical accounts, folklore, and speculative science surrounding enormous man-like primates, creatures the authors refer to as quote-unquote true giants. For years, Bigfoot researchers have been mystified, even embarrassed, by reports of massive hairy apes said to dwarf even the Sasquatch. As a result, these accounts have rarely been examined within a broader zoological framework. In this book, the authors gather traditions, footprint evidence, eyewitness reports, and historical references to present a wide-ranging argument for the possible survival of a giant primate species, one we know existed millions of years ago in the form of Gigantopithecus. These beings are described as significantly larger than the average Bigfoot, more imposing, more territorial, allegedly inhabiting the highest mountain ranges in the most remote wilderness areas on Earth. It's a concept that feels almost too large to process, even for seasoned cryptid enthusiasts. And that brings us to the authors themselves. Loren Coleman is one of the most recognized names in modern cryptozoology. Often described as one of the field's leading figures, he has spent decades researching unexplained creatures and mysterious phenomena. He founded the International Cryptozoology Museum and authored numerous books, including Bigfoot, The True Story of Apes in America, and The Field Guide to Bigfoot and Other Mystery Primates, which I actually own, and I will review one day. Whether one agrees with his conclusions or not, Coleman has played a major role in documenting and organizing cryptozoological research. Mark A. Hall, the second author, was known for venturing into the more obscure corners of the field. Rather than remaining within mainstream Bigfoot reports, Hall focused on lesser-known and often avoided categories of mystery creatures. He authored Thunderbirds, America's Living Legend of Giant Birds, and devoted much of his life research to reports of massive hominids said to exceed even Sasquatch. Obviously, what this book's about, right? True giants. Together, Hall and Coleman combined decades of experience to explore a topic many cryptozoologists, for the most part, hesitate to even approach. The book opens with an introduction written by the cover artist Alika Lindberg, and hopefully I'm saying her first name right, but also she's known as Monique Watau, which I'm also hoping I said her last name right there, but she is the former wife of renowned cryptozoologist Bernard Heuvelmans. Her cover art is based on an alleged encounter from the spring of 1989 by a man named Captain Mokhtar Mohammed, a guest house manager in Malaysia. He was walking with his wife near the jungles at Pulau Balai, Lake Sini. During their walk, he suddenly felt a large, hairy hand touch his left shoulder. Instinctively, he swung the machete he was carrying and struck the creature's hand, and immediately fled. According to Mokhtar, the creature ran upright on two legs, its long arms flailing like a gibbon's. It had no tail and left behind four-toed footprints. And just for scale, Mokhtar stood 6'8", so he was already a pretty tall guy. He estimated the creature to be at least 3 meters tall, so nearly 10 feet. He described it as resembling an enormous gorilla, with fair body hair and blonde hair cascading over its shoulders. The being was referred to as the Orang Dalam, which is considered a true giant, yes, and that was the only alleged encounter around that time. Now look, believe what you will about that account, but from the very beginning, this book does a very good job at establishing a bold tone. This isn't standard Bigfoot territory. Sasquatch alone is controversial, okay? But creatures that allegedly dwarf Sasquatch, that's an entirely different level. Of course, skepticism is warranted, and considering this occurred in the late 1980s, before smartphones and instant documentation, there was little opportunity to preserve evidence beyond testimony and artistic interpretation. So, still, what makes the material compelling is the pattern. These reports are rare, but consistent enough to form, well, some sort of narrative, right? Early in the book, the authors discuss Gigantopithecus blacki, the extinct giant ape species known from fossil evidence. The species once lived in Asia and is often suggested as a possible historical true giant. Whether it connects to modern Bigfoot or Yeti sightings remains speculative, but is grounded in paleontology. We know Gigantopithecus at least existed at one point. Some modern giant sightings also describe 3 or 4 toed tracks instead of the typical 5. The authors suggest the possibility of evolutionary digit reduction, though this remains hypothetical. They also reference the Bering Land Bridge, which once connected Asia and North America. During the Ice Age, megafauna and early humans migrated across it, so theoretically if large primates once existed in Asia, they would have migrated into North America. So there you go. The theory attempts to explain why reports of massive hairy hominids appear across multiple continents rather than being confined to China, where Gigantopithecus fossils were discovered. The book also ventures into biblical references, particularly Genesis 6 in the Old Testament, which describes the Nephilim, giants born from the union of the sons of God and human women. Later texts reference groups such as the Rephaim and Anakim. Figures like Goliath, the Philistine giant, and King Og of Bashan are often cited as remnants of these giant lineages. Beyond scripture, the authors draw parallels to folklore, like Grendel from Beowulf, or the giants of Jack and the Beanstalk, and other towering humanoid figures scattered throughout myth and legend. Are these simply stories or distorted cultural memories of something more? That question is left open to the reader. After reading the book initially, I stepped away for a few months, revisited back with fresh eyes and a fresh take. On the second read, what stood out most wasn't necessarily the claim that giants still roam the wilderness, but the sheer amount of compiled material, religious texts, folklore, fossil evidence, eyewitness reports, newspaper archives, etc. Even within cryptozoology, the giants are often considered fringe, very niche. So I genuinely respect Hall and Coleman for tackling a subject many researchers like to avoid altogether. Whether you fully believe the conclusions or remain skeptical, the book is undeniably ambitious. It challenges you to consider the possibility, even if only temporarily. So what are my final thoughts? True Giants is Gigantopithecus Still Alive is not light reading, and it certainly isn't safe territory. It dives headfirst into one of the most controversial corners of cryptozoology. If you're fascinated with Bigfoot, ancient mysteries, lost species, or the intersection of myth and speculative science, this book is worth exploring, even if you don't walk away convinced. Anyways, with that said, thank you to everyone who stopped by to watch this review. I truly appreciate you sticking around until the end. And hopefully I'll be back soon with another book review, maybe even a movie review. But until then, Mr. K, me, myself, and I am out.